Okay, so you have to start with an overall objective, where you want to be. You have to say, I want to sell X amount of product by a certain date and time and be profitable, by Y, that type of thing. So let's look at what the objectives could be. An annualized objective might look something like this. You might say the company objective, now this is the top line goal, the top line objective, is to increase profitability 6%, right, over prior year. So 6% profitability over prior year. To do that, what are the marketing objectives underneath that tie into that annual goal? Well, number one, we have to increase the selling price of our product from price 1 to price 2. So maybe we're selling something for $186, increase it to $198. So when you increase the price of a product, you obviously increase profitability. So that's one marketing objective to help you get more profit year over year. The second marketing objective could be pulling out any type of non-profitable items that don't attribute to your profitability. So what items are non-profitable? Well, the items that, if you remember the product life cycle, all the items that are coming down or on decline in that product life cycle, they're no longer profitable, right? Remember, as a marketer, you don't want to spend money. If a product's dying, you don't want to spend money in trying to bring that product back to life. In most cases, if a product's already declining, you can't do much about it. There are stories and success stories where you can revive a product. That has happened. It doesn't happen often, and it takes a combination of luck and skill and money, and sometimes the equation just doesn't work, and most times it doesn't work at all, and you just invested good money after bad, they say. So when a product's declining, the marketer's goal is to what we call milk the profitability out of there. So let it continue to decline. Hopefully, if you're a smart marketer, you saw that this product is declining and you have a new product coming up to take its place. But you just want to sort of milk that profitability out of that declining product. So your marketing objective there might be complete the end of life process for these products that are declining, and take out the margins the best we can, and then shut it down at a certain point so it no longer is an unprofitable type item for you. Another marketing objective, again, this is all tied into increasing profitability. Another marketing objective is to increase sales. Obviously, if you increase sales, you will be, if you increase sales, you're increasing profits, because the more sales you have, the more profitability you'll have, right? So if you increase sales of your top product, what we call the star product, remember the star product's the one that is really selling without a lot of marketing behind it, and you can pull profitability out of that. So those three marketing objectives tie in to the company objective of being profitable. Now remember, every company is going to have a different set of objectives. So this is just a good example. There's really a few ways to grow profitability, to grow sales, right? You sell more of the existing product to your existing customers. You increase price of your existing product to your existing customers. Maybe you buy a competitive line or a competitive product, something along those lines. That'll help increase your sales as well. So there's very little ways that we can increase our market share, but we have to make an investment and we have to create objectives in doing that, okay? Remember, every single company will be different in goals and objectives. So, but you can have an underlying idea of what it looks like by these examples. So the number one goal for most companies is to build brand awareness, to build your brand. So that's the goal. The objective that you write to do that could look something like this. We will increase our number of followers to 30,000 on social media in the next 6 months. That helps build brand awareness. So if we think about that SMART process, the specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goal setup, in that objective, you see, we will increase our number of followers to 30,000 on social media in the next 6 months. Well, is it specific? Yes. We want followers to be increased. Is it measurable? Yes. We want to add 30,000 followers to our social media audience. Is it timely? Yes. We want to do it in the next 6 months. Is it attainable? It's pretty attainable. Now you can look at history to find out if you're adding 2,000 followers a month, that in 6 months, that's 18,000. You can easily get that to 30,000, right? But it's less than doubling what you're doing. Now you have to figure that out. It's attainable, and it's realistic. But if you're only adding 2 followers a month to social media, you're not going to go from adding 2 followers a month to 5,000 followers a month. Very rarely does that happen. So that's not really realistic. That's not really attainable. You could still have the timely, you could still have the measurable in there. It could still be specific, but is it really realistic? Probably not. You're not going to go from 2 followers a month to 5,000 followers a month. Very few social media channels accelerate that fast. So that's what we mean when we talk about making sure that it's attainable and it's realistic. So we can always get the specific, measurable, and timely in there, but is it attainable and is it realistic? That's where you have to really check yourself to make sure that it makes sense. So that's what building brand awareness. The next one would be to generate leads. So if you want to generate leads, you could say something like, we will increase the number of email subscriptions by 10% in the next month. So very specific. What are you doing? You're increasing email subscriptions, and very measurable, by 10%, right? Very timely in the next month. Now, is it attainable? The answer is yes, right? Because you can easily get subscriptions increased 10%. Is it realistic? Well, now we have to ask ourselves, how often are we increasing our email subscriptions? If our email subscriptions are only increasing 1% a month or 2% a month, we're saying we want to do 4-5 times better than what we did last month. It's possible, but then you have to ask yourself a question. What is changing? What's going to change to improve your business that much? What's going to change to make that realistic? Something might change and something might make it happen, but you really have to ask yourself, what is going to change from today to tomorrow to get you to that new result? That's what that measurement of being realistic and attainable is. So that's the key piece to this. You can always be specific. You can always have a goal that's measurable. You can even have a goal that's timely, but is it realistic and is it attainable? That's the most important part of that SMART system. So let's talk about another goal. Maybe you want to convert leads. Okay, if I want to convert leads, what do we need to do? Well, we need to increase our conversion rate to 20% by the end of the year. Again, if we look at that SMART system, what are we doing? Very specific. We want to increase our conversion rate. Very realistic, very timely, 20% by the end of the year. We can measure it. But now, is it attainable? Well, only you know that based on history. If you're traditionally converting your leads 5% every single month, what's going to change to help you go from 5 to 20%? Something has to change there. And if there's no real change, then don't expect that to be a reachable, attainable goal, because it's probably not realistic. So you can see the goal ties into the objective, and you have to have a very clearly defined objective. The most important part, it has to be attainable. It has to be realistic. That's the key when you write that objective, because to create tactics to execute on this, it has to make sense. You can't be pie in the sky. You can't have false realities. It has to be a real-time, actual attainable goal, an actual attainable objective, an actual attainable tactic to get to that goal. That's the key. Anybody, let's explain it this way. Every December, New Year's Day or end of the year, what's the number one thing we all say? Most people say, oh, I want to live a healthy life. I want to eat more healthy. I want to lose 15 pounds, right? That's December 30th, December 31st, as we're, drinking our champagne on New Year's night. That's what we're saying to ourselves. Okay, January 1st comes, we don't get up, we sleep all day because we partied all night long. Maybe January 2nd, we wake up and we're inspired to lose 15 pounds. We start there. We say, I'm going to lose 15 pounds by bathing suit season, which is in May. So you got 4.5, 5 months. Of course, January goes by, you don't lose any weight, you don't change your eating habits. Now you get to February and you say, okay, I'm still going to reach that goal. Now it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and it's timely when you did it. It's all good. It's all a smart goal. But as you get closer to that deadline, you realize there's no way that you're going to lose 15 pounds, because you said you want to lose 15 pounds by Memorial Day, which is normally in May. And here we are, April 16th, and you lost 0 pounds, right? So now all of a sudden you are saying to yourself, well, there's no way I'm going to do that. So what do? Do you change the goal and say, you know what, I really didn't want to lose those 15 pounds by Memorial Day. What I really meant to do was lose those 15 pounds by Labor Day, right, in September. So you move the goalposts, as they say. So you failed because they weren't realistic goals. They weren't realistic goals. You have to really dig in and make sure that the goals that you set and the objectives that you set to achieve those goals are realistic. And companies do that all the time. You say, I want to be the number one product all over the world in 6 months. Well, good luck with that, because it takes decades to become the number 2 product. It takes, a half a century to become the number 1 product. Very rarely does it happen that way, that quickly. So your objectives have to be a realistic and timely objective. That's the whole goal of setting this and setting that up. So remember, SMART goals. SMART, S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R is realistic, right? You have to have a reality check there, and T is timely. If you can't reach those components in every single objective you set, then you have to rethink it a little bit and reformulate what you're trying to do, okay?